My name is Kate.Summers. I am the Neighborhood Advisory Committee Coordinator for Achievability, and I help oversee the RCO. I'm really glad you all are here because we think community input into development of the neighborhood is incredibly important. I'm here with Kelly, who is the president of our Neighborhood Advisory Subcommittee. She'll be co-hosting this with me. So Kelly, do you want to say a little bit more about yourself?
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome. Seems like we got a nice group of people here. It seems like the people that are on the call tonight are familiar with the RCO and the RCO process. So I'm here with Kate co-hosting. Let's get some good information and some support.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the RCO process, so I would need someone to explain that to me. I need clarity. Thank you.
Sure. Hi, Imani. The RCO is a registered community organization, and we're here in the community just to ensure that residents are informed of developments in their communities, what those developments entail, and also to have a voice in the types of developments that we see in our communities. And so this is a part of the process where we are meeting with the developers and residents in the community, and we're having a conversation about that business and its development and how it may affect our everyday life where we live. I think that sums it up.
I think so. So just before we begin, just so we can get an idea of who's here and who are the neighbors, the developers, anyone directly related to the project, if we could just go around, say our name, if you're a neighbor or how you're affiliated with the development, that would be great. Yes, I see in the chat, someone said this is a very small number of community people. So yes, so there were flyers mailed out to people within, I can't remember the exact, within the radius of the property.
Four block radius.
4 block radius. But additionally, if at the end of this meeting we find out that there needs to be more input, Kelly and I will go out to the block and get community input as well. They're talking to residents directly that live in the area. But for now, we'll focus on the people that are here. So I'm just gonna go who's in my little square. So Leo, if you could introduce yourself.
Sure. So my name's Leo Mulvihill, everyone. I'm the attorney for the project. I'm here tonight with Alan and Natalie, and they are the developers for the project.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And then Andrew.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Goodman. I'm here representing the Office of 3rd District Councilmember Jamie Gaudier.
Great. And Kyle Sampson.
Hi, Kyle Sampson from the West Philadelphia Economic Development Council, RCO. Leo, I was wondering, I never got a copy of any certificate of mailing. Our RCO never received that.
Oh, I have it right here. I'll make sure to get that to you. I have it as part of my presentation.
We also have it as well.
Okay.
And Imani, so you represent over 600 families in the 3rd ward.
Hi, my name is Imani. I'm the committee woman for the 3rd ward. No one on my block or anyone that I know of has called me or alerted me about a mailing, as you stated earlier. So I just wanted to put that out there. I represent over 600 families in the 3rd ward, and no one has called me, and I usually get a lot of calls. I haven't gotten any call about any mailing coming in. The property that you're talking about is on the corner of where I live at. So I'm just a little bit leery right now because something seems to be amiss. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
And Sean Masonberg.
Sean Massenberg. I actually live next door to the property, the lot that's trying to be developed.
Okay, wonderful. Galaxy S21 Ultra G5.
Hello, how you doing? I'm one of the employees for the development.
Okay. Larissa Mogano. If you could just introduce yourself.
Hi there. I'm from the Toxic Neighbors RCO.
Okay. And then the person on the phone, 26733. Okay, well, I think we'll just get started. Thank you all for coming again. Oh, and Mr. Ronald Waters, could you just introduce yourself? Oh, let me see if we can get you unmuted.
Okay.
Am I muted now?
There we go. Yep.
Hi, I'm Ronald Waters, 3rd Ward RCO.
Okay, wonderful. Great. Thank you all so much for being here. And with that, I will pass it over to the developers.
Great. So hold on for 1 second, guys. I'm just making sure Kyle gets his paperwork here. Like I said, everyone, my name's Leo Mulvihill. I'm the attorney for this project, and tonight we're discussing the property 5928 Walnut Street, which is currently a vacant lot. Let's see what I can do, get my packet up. So we have a proposal tonight to build on this lot 6 new, one building with 6 units. Let's see if I can share my screen. One moment as I get this up here. There we go. Can everybody see my screen okay? Okay, I see some nods, so that's good. So we have an application. This is a zoning district RSA 3, which is a lower density residential district for single family homes. We're looking to build one new structure with 6 dwelling units, so multifamily units. We receive refusals for that because we're not allowed to do that in a single family district. We also receive refusals because we're looking to put a side yard on this property. Just like a lot of the other properties on this block, we wanted to have it set back from its neighbor because as the houses go back, as you all know, there are alleyways that people have. We have twins, we have windows along the sides of this building, so we can't build up next to them. So we have a setback on the side that we're looking to do of about 5 feet to allow for light and air for the neighbors and to allow for one of our tenants to also get into the property as well. The last thing that we received a refusal for is for parking. Because we're proposing multifamily in a single family district in RSA 3, we're supposed to provide 6 off-street parking spaces. That's simply not possible on this lot. In order to do so, what we would have to do is actually take away legal on-street parking on Walnut Street, and we're simply not going to do that. And it just wouldn't fit. So that's just not something we can possibly do here. So that's what we're here for today. Alan, would you mind introducing yourself to everybody here who's present at the meeting, letting them know what you're all about?
Yeah, how are you doing, everybody? I'm Alan, and I represent the development company. And thank you for hearing our case, and we look forward to sharing with you and hope everybody likes it. Our company has built many properties in West Philadelphia. We're very in tune with the area and the neighborhood, and our goal is to provide great housing units that are affordably priced. And there is definitely a missing amount of these type of units, we feel. So we're excited to share this with you, and we hope you enjoy. And we want to hear the feedback of that.
Sure. All right, everybody. So here's where we are right now. Excuse me. What I'm showing you now is a area zoning map for the area that I got from Philadelphia Atlas, which is a really handy website. Most of this area is residential multifamily with just a little couple pockets of RSA 3. We're this blue lot right here. So when looking at this property, what we decided to do is take a look at it because it is pretty big. and see whether we could develop something more in line with RM1 residential multifamily guidelines, which is how we got at the number of units that we did. Here's an overhead shot of the lot as well, just so we have an idea of what we're looking at. So our lot is vacant, and the one immediately next door to it is also vacant. When I was out hanging the zoning signs the other day in the very warm weather, I spoke with a couple of the neighbors on the block and reminded them of the meeting as well. Here we go. This is our deed for the property. It's our commercial activity license. This is our letter that went out, advising everybody of our community meeting date, which is today, the zoning date, which is August 18. The information to get onto our meeting here tonight, or how to call in. I also included a copy of our refusal with that letter. Here's a copy of the notice of mailing that went out. So we ended up sending out 149 letters. They went out on June 22nd. And those were sent out by my mailing service. Here's some photographs of the property. These are ones that I took the other day while posting the property with orange zoning signs. So as you can see, this is us here. This is the side yard that I was talking about. We're also going to have a side yard. And this is just going to go through quickly, kind of a overview of the lot itself and the surrounding properties. It's the church across the street. Other twin properties across the street. And then other twins directly next to us as well. These are the gentlemen I was speaking with as I was out hanging those zoning signs the other day. So here we are. What I'm going to do now is get to our actual zoning plan itself. And it's kind of big, so I'm going to zoom in on a couple different places. So first off, this is our proposed elevation. So what we're looking to do is have a brick, potential some sort of vinyl or other sort of siding on the front, maybe hardy board, cement board paneling, large windows to let in some light, and entranceway to get into the property. There is also going to be a pass-through to get to the rear of the property, because there is a large rear yard. It's going to be for trash and recycling storage for all of the units, so that will be in the back. So there won't be any problems with people keeping trash out front or anything along those lines. In addition, one of the units gets accessed by this side alley, which we all saw is going to be running next door to this neighbor's property. This is the overall site plan for the property itself. This is the front on Walnut Street off to the right. To the left, this is the back. So we're set back about as far as the neighboring properties. We just don't have a covered porch. The lot itself is 20 feet wide. It's very deep. It's 128 feet, 6 inches deep. Our house is proposed to go back a little bit further than the adjacent existing houses. We do have trash and recycling storage back here, as I noted earlier. And this is the side yard setback, which allows for an access ramp, and that allows for access to a unit, which is going to be coming in just about here, which we'll get to in a moment when I show you the floor plans. All right, so I'll start here. This is color coded, so it makes things a little bit easier for everybody. So what we have here first are units A and B. Units A and B are the biggest units. They're just over 1,000 square feet. They go across the basement and the ground floor. They're all 1-bedroom units. They're all 1-bathroom units. Units A and Unit B, we didn't want to put any bedrooms in the basement or anything along those lines. So it's basically mechanical storage space or open recreation space for both of those units. You'll notice that each of the units also has a washer and dryer and has dishwasher in the kitchen as well. So that's the first units 1 and 2. Overall, for the pricing for these units, we're looking anywhere from between around $900 and $1,200 per month, which I know is a question that we'll be asking a little bit. In order to get into Unit B, what you would do is come in off the front area into that front door that everybody saw. You'd hang a left, and then you're in your unit. These stairs are inside of Unit B, and those allow you only to get down to the basement itself for your storage, mechanicals, or flex space. To get to Unit A, which is in the back, you would just simply come up that side yard ramp, walk to the rear of the property, and come in here to this entrance door. This is an accessible. This can be. This is accessible through this side door right here. To get in the next set of units, what you would do is you come in through that front door, go up the stairs. Excuse me. And then you'd be in second floor. So coming up the stairs, you then hang a right and you'd be in Unit D. Unit D is 465 square feet. Again, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. To get into Unit C, 574 square feet, you'd simply come up. After you came up the stairs, you'd come up down the hallway, come in through this door here. Then you have your kitchen, living, bathroom, bedroom. And again, you have your walk-in closet, utility area. You have laundry space for washer, dryer, and a dishwasher as well. So again, all these units are coming in, other than the first units, are around 500, 600 square feet, give or take. They're not terribly big, but they're not terribly small. To get to the next set of units on the 3rd floor, you go up the stairs here in this common area, and you come up those stairs. To head to the back, you get to Unit E, which is 589 square feet. To head to the front, you get to Unit F, which is 566 square feet. And again, each of these is 1 bedroom, 1 bath, decent living, kitchen, space, washer, dryer. This is just another picture of the elevation of the building. So you have nice big windows, allowing lots of light into each of the units. This is that entrance door to get into the side units. This is the rear of the property, which has Juliet balconies on the 2nd and 3rd floors for the units to allow them to get some interior fresh air by having that slide open. And then this is just a picture of the front of the building. You'll note there was no roof deck proposed. There's no roof deck on this building whatsoever. That's really all we have here. Like I said, what we're trying to do is look at a price point that's affordable. If we were to build a new single family home here, the price would be relatively high due to construction costs right now. Whereas if we are putting in multifamily, we're able to put in something that's a little bit better, more attainable for more numbers of people, again, around $900 a month, give or take. The lot itself is about 2,570 square feet, which is a very big lot. In designing the number of units, we looked at the RM1 residential multifamily guidelines, which is what we have in a lot of the area around here, to try to determine what the best number of units would be. And that would be this number of units, as I recall, 6 units, which we would be allowed to do by right. But because this particular lot is zoned single family and is not zoned multifamily, that's why we're coming to you for this variance request. We're happy to take any questions that you may have at this time.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. What's the gentleman's name again?
Either Leo or Alan.
Alan, I guess you are the one I want to talk to. I guess you gave your own last name. You gave your own name last. About this site that I'm looking at right here on the screen. That is that's a 3-story on a 2-story housing block. How many of the residents that live on that block are on this Zoom meeting right now? Do we know?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I own the property right next door.
Oh, you own the property next door. Great. Okay. And And what's your name, please? Your first name?
Sean Massenberg.
Sean, okay, thanks, Sean. Thanks for being on this meeting. It's really important that we have you on this meeting if you live that close to it. Because I really would like to just get your feeling on that. I'm very familiar with that block. I used to go to that church across the street when I was a kid, and I used to go to the school up the street, Sayre. So I've traveled that way many times. Trying to find out how you feel about this.
Apart from the background noise, I'm outside and there's a siren in the background.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm a bit concerned. As you mentioned, a lot of the houses, the majority of the homes on that block are 2-story. Now, 5930 from there on up, that's when the 3 stories start. But my property is a 2-story property. And just to be frank, I am concerned with the amount of, I mean, they're saying families, but I really don't anticipate families moving into that type of accommodation. And I do have a lot of concerns with the amount, with the type of, excuse me 1 second, let me go on mute. I do have some concern with the potential type of residents that they may be targeting and the quantity. Also, I do have concern with the all right. So the way it is now, everybody, they go in and they come out the front door. My property is right next to it. Like as of right now, the property that I own is the most exposed at the Separate Bend from the south side and the west side. And, I'm concerned from that from a security standpoint, and I'm taking, adequate measures to protect my interests. But I am concerned with people coming in and going out by the side entrance or even the rear. So really at the moment, I think it's great that, we're going to potentially develop the neighborhood, but I do have concerns with security, the type of clientele that this could attract. And one of the reasons for the denial was the parking. As of right now, there's no, like, the people that live on the block can't even park. And like you said, Mr. Waters, we have the church across the street that brings even more demands for parking on Sunday. And additionally, like with all of the properties being aligned in a consistent manner, I appreciate that they want to build it a little bit off of the street, but that obstructs some of the natural light that I enjoy in my kitchen area and some of my back rooms.
Yeah, because it appears that this house is where, I guess, Sean, you have a backyard where you live right now?
Yes, sir.
So this property is going to extend beyond where your backyard is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I just needed to hear from some people who live on the block to get their feelings on it, because that's important to me, how the people on the block feel about this development. So thank you, Alan. Appreciate that. If I have some more questions, I'll be glad to share them with you.
Yeah, and just thank you both for the feedback. And just to answer some of the questions, there will be security. All the properties that we have, we put security cameras in for multifamily that are, recording consistently. And the reason we chose the 1-bedroom, for this property, the 6 1-bedrooms, we could have maybe did, larger units and 2-bedroom, but we feel there's just a lack of affordable housing, and people need, right now people need housing. So we see it with a lot of the applications that we do have, and we are looking to, kind of fill that void. So we want them to be affordable at that price point, and and to say what kind of crowd or who our tenant base is, we are particularly, not that we discriminate of any kind, but we do try to make sure we have the best applicant for the property and for the, this wouldn't be family per se, but we do see a lot of, single people or people at a school and they want to come back and they want to rent in the neighborhood, and there's just not a lot available. So we're trying to fill that void and give them a great product. So I hope that answers some of the questions. And lastly, the only unit that will have access from the side, it would just be that one rear unit that would have access on that left side. All other units would come from the front. And also somebody mentioned, is there handicap accessibility? And there is, and that's another big reason that we chose. There is a lack of handicap accessible units in the city. So every time we do a property or we try to do a property, we're also keeping that in mind. And all the properties we do, for the most part, that are multifamily, I'd say 95%. We try our very best, and this is the case here, to make it handicapped. And this picture actually is wrong.
How many units are accessible?
The first 2 units would be accessible because they'd be able to roll, right in if they were handicapped. So the first, first floor, I guess you would say, because there's no elevator. That would be impossible here.
And I have a lot of questions rolling in as well. So I'm just gonna go through them. So are there going to be income requirements?
Well, I mean, the income requirements that we do are pretty standard. We do usually about 3.5 times the rent. So whatever the rent is, they got to make about 3.5 times that rent. That's kind of as far as we go. It's pretty basic. I think that's across, most different management companies. And we are conscious. I know there's some new mandates that are coming out, or laws that they signed. We're very conscious of that. With City Council, and so I hope that answers.
All right. And are there open market rentals?
Yeah, at this point they're all open market. There's no, we do take subsidies, but these are at this point. Nothing's been determined. These are open market. Whatever is the market rate for these. And what we're seeing for these type of units would be anywhere from $900 to about $1,100 for a unit this size. And just to give some also guidance on the units, these are all come. Obviously the building is fully sprinklered. Each unit comes with a washer dryer in the unit. So central air. So these are very nice units, I like to say. And they're fully equipped, new floors, obviously, wooden floors, and modern look.
I have a quick question. It's about the income requirements or income generalization. And I think you said the least expensive apartment would probably, by the time this is all developed, it's likely that it will be more, but probably $900 at this time. And you said the person that is renting this would need to make 3 times that amount. That's $2,700 per what, month?
A month.
Now, how many single people are making that where we are? I just thought about that, and I was just thinking that that's a high number.
That's pre-tax. So so $2,700 a month. About
okay. Pre-tax is a little bit better, because at least you can say it might be possible, because we have a lot of, not that we're against gentrification, there are a lot of pros and cons to that. But the thing is, when we have such new places coming in and the prices are astronomical, and the people that live here or like go away to college, like my daughter goes away to college, she comes home, she wants a 1-bedroom apartment to rent, and she can't afford it because she's just getting out of school. She has to live, I don't even know where she's going to be able to live, because it's possible she might not be able to live in West Philadelphia in the near future. So I was just thinking about that. Not that it's your fault, because that's how the market is. That's the math that it takes to develop something like this. But, we're having a hard time looking at these new rental properties that are coming in, and it's like we won't be able to afford them. I know you can't really speak much to that, but it was just a thought that I wanted to put out there.
One thing, I don't know how familiar, we have built some other units close by at 61st and Locust, 60th and Osage. If anybody's familiar with those projects that we did, and several more. And one thing I can testify to that is most of the tenant base that we are renting to, this is not gentrification. We are renting to people that are in the community. Because if you look on Zillow and you look at the prices, it's not like we're going in and saying, and this happened on 52nd and 52nd in Baltimore area, that big building they did. Like they're asking like $1,400 for a 1-bedroom or $1,500.
Right. It's just ridiculous.
That's not what we're doing. We're not going in, and I can tell you, our tenant base is people that are from. They would rent, let's say, a rehab property or something in line, but we're just giving them a better option and something that's nicer. So I can really tell you that, and I could stick to that. And you can see our other buildings, the way they look. They're very, very close by.
Okay.
Jihad Ali, you've had your hand up for a while.
Hey, hello everybody. Hello everybody.
Hey, Jihad, how you doing?
Good evening. Hey, Representative Waters, how you doing? Hey,
I'm
Mr.
good.
Goodman. Good to see you. I wanted to say that I'm familiar with the developer. I attend the 60th Street Mosque. And one thing I'll say about this developer, he mentioned those properties that he has on 60th Street. I know he has something on Chestnut Street, and the one on Osage. He, that's how he first caught our attention, because he was one of the only developers doing new construction in our neighborhood that we hadn't seen in a while. And so we approached him about MBE, WBE participation. He helped us greatly with that. He supports us with, with the things that we're concerned about, which is jobs and, trying to eliminate the violence in the city, because he employs subcontractors who employ young people. And also, one of the things I think that is unique with him, he is kind of, I would say it's kind of, I guess you can understand what I'm gonna say. He doesn't discriminate against people that come from our community. I know that wholeheartedly, because I see some of our members that are in his buildings. So I know that in this city, sometimes that's a real thing that we run into. But I do think that he makes nice product from the units that I've seen. They're spacious, and when somebody said about the quality of the people that come in, I think he answered that when he told you about, he does have some guidelines, and he just doesn't let riffraff in the buildings. And I just think he's the kind of developer that we need in our neighborhood. And he also does single family homes. He didn't mention that, but he is a developer that's developing single family homes for people to purchase. So we support that.
Thank you, Jihad. And second, what Jihad, and there's a question here in the chat. I see. Do we use minority contractors? And the answer is yes. We use a lot of minority contractors. We also use we have a woman minority contractor. So we're all open. We also are affiliated with a school downtown that helps people that are looking to get a job. If you see some of my sites, there's a sign on all our sites, and there is actually a school at 19th and Girard that basically can help qualify people to be welders or any kind of machine operators. So there's, while we're developers, we're doing a lot of work in this area. We're very in tune with the community, and we're very open, and we've heard what community members have asked for, and that's why it wasn't our intention to build single family homes, but we've also kind of added that to our repertoire of putting single family homes because of home ownership needs, and that is another big part of what we're doing. So this project, Joe, it's too big of a site. It's a huge lot, and it just wouldn't make a lot of sense to put a single family home here for us. It wouldn't be feasible with the cost. And regardless, I mean, I know the 3-story, 2-story sometimes becomes an issue, but regardless, if it was a single family home, it could have been a 3-story. Without, by right, let's put it that way. So, but that is something that we are very conscious of and we're working on.
So I am familiar with the locations on 61st and Locust and 61st and Osage. And Jihad Ali mentioned Chestnut Street. Now, there's a development on 6,000 block of Chestnut Street. Is that you too?
That is me, yes.
That is you too? Okay. All right, so I did see, of course I didn't go too close to, I didn't have a hard hat on, but I did see from a safe distance the work and the craftsmanship that was put into those houses on 61st Street, the 3-story units on 61st Street, and it looked like quality. And I did have a chance to see some of the tenants that live there, and they did look like people from the community, which I gave a thumbs up when I did see that.
Yeah, and our leasing agent, Tanisha, is actually on the call. I don't know if Tanisha wants to just second any of Tanisha. Are you on the call still?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so you could second, kind of our tenant base and, that what I'm saying is is true.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things in which you've highlighted is the fact that, we do not discriminate in regards to our qualifications. We make it fair, we make it easy and available for anyone to pretty much qualify within reason. You still have to show the means to be able to afford, but again, we try to keep it low in regards to the rent. So therefore, the pre-tax dollars would allow for them to be able to afford.
So how's the funding for these projects? I'm sorry if I asked too many questions, but where's the funding coming from for these projects?
Say it again, the funding?
Yeah, is there any federal funding or any guidelines?
No, this is all either my money or, we're using bank money as
Okay,
well.
okay, all right, okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay.
No, thank you for all the questions. I want to get through a couple other questions that have been sent to me through the chat. So what is the market value for the property after it is built?
That's a good question. It's very tough to say at this point. I mean, we can guess what it might be, but it would just be a guess at this point because we don't have, that's something an appraiser would do.
Okay. And what is the purpose of building the units?
Well, the purpose is to fill a good need. There's a lack of housing. There's a lack of good affordable units in our city, and development. I mean, like Jihad's mentioned, like I mentioned earlier, we do have a lot of minority contractors that are from the area. They employ other people, so it's a trickle down effect that we feel that is beneficial. We're open to hearing and always learning of new contractors. We don't we're not married to any contractors. And that just, it keeps kids working, making money, and, development will spur, new opportunities. And, that's what we're all about.
And would the developer / owner also be the property manager for the property?
Yeah, so we manage all of our own properties. And we can give our website here at the end here where, so we're very in tune with the needs of multifamily properties with trash collections, routine maintenance. Like I mentioned, we have cameras around the properties that are all around. So we're very in tune, and we take very great pride in managing the properties and making sure they're well kept.
Okay. And Imani Batty, you have had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, that's okay. I've typed my questions, and it sounds like a really good elevator pitch because I live right around the corner from what it is. But I've just put whatever my comments was, I put in the chat box. I'm just concerned that on that corner there's a pizza store, across the street is a grocery store. There's quite a few stores along there. There's not a lot right now. There's the foot traffic comes from people going to the stores and hitting 60th Street because there's not a lot of traffic on that block, and they have some very beautiful big homes. My concern is with the 6 units that are being built there, that it's going to increase the foot traffic. I'm also concerned, that question was not answered after the units are built. What would be the actual property value? Also, what would be, as a result of that property being built and it's new, is it going to increase taxes for the other residents that live on that block? So that's a very big concern of mine, because as we know, Philadelphia is booming in the real estate business. And lastly, I was hearing someone speak about the rents would be $900 to maybe $1,100. I have a college degree and I can't afford it, and I own my home. And I mean, I make maybe somewhere between, 40 to 46,000 a year. And I know that I would not be able to afford $900 a month. So I was very glad to hear the brother speak about the things that the developer has done in reaching out. It is my hope that that there are people from the neighborhood that can apply, even though it is high, because some people don't have high incomes, but we do have some people that have high incomes in our neighborhood. It's my hope that when these units are built, I'm hoping that 2 of them will be for people with disabilities. I heard the young man state that the first 2 floors, he's absolutely correct in that. I also hope that whatever the market value is of the property, once it is built, it doesn't increase taxes for the other people that live on that block. And a lot of times when new buildings come up, the property taxes increase. So that's one of my concerns. The property taxes, one of my concerns that most people in the neighborhood may not be able to afford $900 a month, because if I'm correct, what you pay for rent should be your salary for 1 week, if I'm correct. And I'm not sure how many people can do that in that area, but I know some can. And lastly, what do you do when you have tenants that are creating a nuisance on the block? That's all. Thank you.
I can answer a few of those questions, and thank you so much for all the questions, Imani. So the property taxes, to answer first, they will not go up. The only way your taxes in this case would go up, I mean, not because of this property, let's put it that way. I don't know what the city, but if I were to build a single family house and sold it for $400,000, then potentially, yes, your taxes would go up. But if we're building this as an apartment property, that's not gonna have any impact because we're not selling it. And there's not going to be any kind of sale here to increase property taxes because it's not comparable to a regular house on the block. That's from all the knowledge that I have. So that's one of the first questions. I gotta take a look here. What was the second? With the first 2 units will be handicapped. 6 units. I'm reading your questions here in the chat. Am I missing anything over there? I think that's it. We talked about that.
There was a question about nuisance tenants.
Oh, nuisance. Yes.
So what we can do.
We give, like I said, we have 24-hour maintenance, but we also have cameras. So if there is a nuisance, we're going to give the tenant a few times to we're going to send notices and letters and let them know that they're being a nuisance. And then we'll take all of the steps. If it is a real problem, then we're going to, approach it, with the steps that are necessary. So it's resolved. And usually when that happens, the tenants, seem to, get back because they love their unit. They don't want to lose the unit.
Mr. Sampson? Would you like to ask?
Yeah.
You're breaking up a little bit for me.
Sir, you can take, if you could take off your video, you'll be able, we may be able to hear you better. Thank you.
I'm very concerned about, you spoke about minority contractors or subcontractors. Can you hear me?
Not that good. We can't hear you that well.
It's clearer, but it's not. It's still breaking up some. You said there was a question about minority businesses.
African American contractors. You spoke about minority American contractors, and I'd like to know what is your. Okay, I'll put it in the chat.
That'd be perfect. Thank you.
I did want to
African
ask.
American businesses. I'll put it in the chat.
Perfect. And then we'll ask you once it's in the chat. Kelly, do you want to go?
Yes, I was thinking about, there's 2 things that I jotted down. It was about any emergency exits. I didn't hear us discuss anything like that. And also, you did speak to the parking issue, but it sounded like there was really nothing you could do about that. So basically, there's gonna be a parking issue here.
Yeah.
So in terms of emergency exits, I mean, basically everybody's living above grade. The building is new, it's going to be sprinklered. There are egress wells that are in the basement, but otherwise everyone's going to be able to get out of the building either at ground level, if you're on the ground floor units, or via the common stairwells, if you're on the above ground units.
So that's one entrance in, one entrance out. It's the same exit and entrance, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and that's per code.
And you
So I
can't,
mean,
okay,
this is per code. So if we were required to put 2 exits, the code would being that it's 3-story and 5 units would actually have 1 entrance. But since the 6th unit has its own exit there, so that's and the building is fully sprinklered. So that's another major thing of why it gives the distance and everything else. I mean, this all goes through the architect and they make sure it fits the code.
like you have automatic fire alarms, and then sprinklers will come on if it is a fire.
Absolutely.
Even if everyone's rushing to the door, you have the fire in the ceiling, so it'll.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah.
That gets monitored every year. All the fire alarms, all the sprinklers, and the fire alarms are actually, and some developers don't do this, but we pay a certain amount of money every month that it's actually directed right to the police and fire station. We pay for a monitoring service. So that's, another thing that we do.
Okay. And the parking, right? There was really nothing that you could do for that.
Yeah, there's really not anything we could do, because if you tried to provide any sort of off-street parking, what we would have to do is ask the city for a curb cut right on Walnut Street where everybody's already parking. So it would take away an on-street parking spot, and then it would privatize that so nobody could ever park there ever again. And then we'd have to try to fit some of the cars onto the lot there somehow. And it just wouldn't make any sense. You'd have cars going over the pavement, which wouldn't be very safe. The lot itself isn't even really wide enough for more than like 2 spaces, and it's not really any spot you could put any of those cars. And again, just want to reiterate, in order to do this at all, we'd have to take away on-street parking, and we never want to do that.
Someone in the chat specifically about parking said, would the developer consider any incentives like rent reduction or discounts for renters who rely on public transit or otherwise don't plan to move in with vehicles?
Yeah, we certainly would look at that. Absolutely.
I think that's a good little idea. It might, get you some people without vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, being that it's so close to public transit, Market Street, that was our intention, and being that they're 1 bedrooms, so a lot of people that are they're going to commute. Not saying it's guaranteed, but that was our intention.
And Mr. Sampson, could you elaborate a little bit more on your question or concern? Are you asking that if the contractors are specifically African American from the community? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can answer that. Our electrician, and he's been with us a long time. He is from the community, lives in West Philadelphia, minority-owned business. And another one is our painter. She's, like I said, she's a minority female-owned business, and she also and they both employ many people right from the neighborhood. Our steel, we got a steel guy, but he's in North Philadelphia. But trying to think of this off the top of my head, if there's more. I mean, we have a masonry crew as well, and they were actually from West Philly, that we use, not all the time, but we do use them as well. So, but the answer, yes, some of them are right from the community.
Hi, sorry, I want to revisit my question quickly, just to get a little more specific about the incentives like rent reduction or discounts. I know that you said you were building close to public transportation intentionally, and that's great, but that didn't really answer my question if you would consider those incentives. And that would be not just for this property, but any future properties too, because it potentially, staves off the issue of both affordability and the parking concerns, which are always a big one both are always big ones for the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we definitely would consider it. The problem is it really feasible to monitor? I mean, these are challenges and questions. We could definitely, if somebody were, if we can implement it and we can do it, we definitely would. So we're all for it.
Okay, I did want to go back to Sean Massenberg and ask him. I think he's still on the call. He's the neighbor directly next door. And I just wanted to gather his thoughts at this time after we kind of went through a few, questions and scenarios, and maybe still get his feedback of, his thoughts, other things that, may, make him wary of this development because he's right next door. So Sean, are you there? Can you speak to us about that at this time?
Yes, I'm still online. I appreciate the developers' input. I think they're aligned appropriately and they're giving the right presentation to the community. My concerns still stand, and I can talk to Achievability offline to express those in greater detail. But the concerns that I have, I think, are valid in terms of, again, I know they can't necessarily control the type of tenant that moves in, but I'm going to be affected by that. The neighbor that's on the left side of me and the neighbor that was on the right side of me, I was close to them. We've had great relationships with all of the neighbors, so it does affect me in a very intimate way. So I am very concerned about that. I'm still concerned about parking, and I'm still concerned about security, and I'll take the appropriate measures to make sure that my interests are protected, and I can speak to Achievability or anyone else offline. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that feedback, Sean. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and just to, for Sean, I mean, if there's any, major concerns or anything of that nature, we are definitely open and we can talk and see how we can, help come to a compromise or whatever the case may be to, make him at ease. So we're very open to doing that as well, within reason.
Alan, if you have a website about your company, can you just put it here in the chat?
Absolutely, I'll do it right now.
Thank you.
Hello, and this is Tempest from Achievability. I came on late. I had another meeting. We're going to do our usual poll voting.
Yes.
Okay.
Are there any last questions that people have? If not, I will get the poll going. So there was concern at the beginning of the meeting that there weren't enough residents here, that people weren't comfortable until hearing more from the community. So basically the options that I've put on the poll are yes, you approve this, no, and then yes, but tentatively pending neighbor approval, meaning Kelly and I will go out and speak to the people on the block, express what was said at this meeting and get more info from them.
And one quick thing, our office also, we did a Saturday, like kind of an information session. A lot of neighbors went to on July 10th. And we did speak to a lot of neighbors. We gave, pretzels and flyers. So we also, besides what Leo did, we, within that immediate block, we, we've reached out, we've talked to the block captain, and, we had at least, I know, one informational session and a bunch of flyers that we hand delivered.
Great. So yeah, so people will know what we're talking about when we
absolutely
go and talk about that. So let me get this poll going.
So can I ask you something real quick? And I appreciate what you just said. I really do. That that you are going to go into the community, since there's not a lot of community people on this call, which is my main concern. I don't live on that block, but I live around the corner, and but the people on that block have to live there, like Sean. And you said that you would like to go and speak to the people in the community, because even if they couldn't be on the call, I don't know what their feelings are, and they don't. And it seems that the developers don't have anything written down, like a letter of support or anything like that from the community. They couldn't be there. And since Sean is the only one on the call, and it seems as if he does have some concerns, and they're legitimate concerns.
And I believe there are a couple other people. Yes, Imani Batty lives.
Imani lives around the corner. Yes, yes, yeah. And I'm glad she's on the call because she's also the committee woman for that area. But when you go out to the community to talk to them, can you please let me know when you do that? Okay, I would appreciate
Absolutely.
that. All right.
Okay, sorry, I'm just having some trouble getting the poll started. Okay.
If you can't launch it.
I think it's Tempest because we're both logged on the Achievability.
Okay.
I think it's because two of us are on. Can you see if you can launch it from yours? If not, one of us will have to log out.
I'll log out.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Okay. So it is still not launching. So if people could just send me a direct message in the chat on their vote, I will take it down that way. And then if you're not able to do that, if you could just say it verbally.
What are we voting on again?
So it's if you approve the property. So there are three answers. Oh, Kelly, you're muted if you're trying to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I was just gonna speak to the question. Imani was asking, what are we voting for? And it's in approval of the property, or approval of the zoning plans that they are going to present to the zoning board. You know, meaning giving them the green light to go ahead with their development. And we had three options. Kate said you can say yes, you can say no, and you can say tentative. And we also were going to do additional research and get more information from direct neighbors within the next week or so.
Okay. All right. So it's option 1, option 2, or option 3?
So how do you want us to say that? Okay. Option
1, option 2, option 3. How's that sound?
That works. Or yes, no, tentative.
Okay. All right. So for me as an RCO for the 3rd ward, where that property is located in the 3rd ward, and the lack of residents on this Zoom meeting, I'm going to pick option 3. Tentative. And do we have a scheduled meeting with the ZBA?
I believe you said it's August 19th.
Okay, so that's time. That's almost a month away.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I believe that we got votes from everyone. So yeah, we will be going out within the next week, as Kelly said. And then we will, yeah, so I'm seeing we'd really like more residents to be here. Yeah, agreed. We're always encouraging residents to come to these, and the mailings were sent out, but that's why we're going to go out as well within the next week. Any final questions about this?
No, just to be clear, it's August 18th, not the 19th.
Oh, 18th.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. Okay, and thank you all for being here. Great presentation, developers, and we appreciate your time and answering all of our questions.
Great. Thank you very much for your help tonight. We appreciate seeing everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank
All
you
right,
too.
thank you.
Thank you.